As much as it galls me, Spence, I'm going to have to spit this out, right, and get it off my chest, and you can perhaps confirm or deny. What is this absolute load of old I'm hearing about Anthony Joshua fighting Jake Paul?
Exactly that, load of old and I think that's exactly what it is. I think that they've had a conversation which Anthony Joshua posted that he'd had Jake Paul on the phone or whatever. But look, Jake Paul is a master salesman. He knows exactly what he's doing. Him talking about fighting Anthony Joshua, does the fight ever materialise? No, I don't think it does. Anthony Joshua's got his own trajectory to go on.
Let's hear about the aforementioned from the Eddie Hearn.
This is the first time I've spoken about the fight. To be honest, I look at it and I think Jake Paul against Anthony Joshua. I mean, look, for me, we'd do it for the banter. Do you know what I mean? AJ would fight Jake Paul. He'd fight anyone, to be honest with you. And if Jake Paul wants to step up and fight Anthony Joshua, he'll need the relevant insurance. But, the only thing that was disappointing was he says 2026. I mean, that's like calling someone out. That's like me saying, LA Olympics for the surfing, 2028, I'll be there. Do you know what I mean? Do it in 2025 if you really want to do it. You're not going to get really much better at this stage. But I don't know, those two have spoken. I spoke to AJ this morning. He went, listen, of course, I'd fight. I mean, if the question was asked to Jai, would you fight Jake Paul? And there was...
I wouldn't fight him, I'd bash him.
Yeah. But he might do it. He might just do it for, just for doing it, for the sake of it. But obviously we know. Listen, Jake creates massive events, right? You know that's going to create, unbelievable viewership. And, no disrespect to Jake Paul, it's a straightforward night's work. But, I like this calling out of Canelo and all this. AJ it's another challenge up there. But, if they're game, why not?
What did he say, AJ, to you about it?
He said, why not? I said, what do you want me to say when I'm asked about it? And he said, tell everyone, I'll fight anyone, anytime. It's not a problem for me. Who knows where it'll go?
So he'll fight anyone, of course, besides Daniel Dubois. When you listen to this sort of stuff, Paul, what's your takeaway when you hear Eddie Hearn and potentially Anthony Joshua even giving any credence to this nonsense?
As a boxing purist, it doesn't sit well, but as a normal working class lad, I've been asked by builders, would you fight Jake Paul for £5 million? I never got £5 million for fighting anyone else in a fight, so it's the silliest question in the world. I've been retired 7 years. I'm still very confident. If you give me 3 weeks to get off the couch, I'll probably still beat him with one hand. It's not. Yeah. He's not a good fighter, so it's not even being disrespectful to him as a YouTuber, as a presenter in what he does. He blows me out the water. That's his line of work. But you're stepping into boxing, another profession. Now to call it like a Canelo out, I think is disrespectful. To call Anthony Joshua out is lunacy. But we know why it's happening and why he does it.
Forget Jake Paul.
Forget Jake Paul. A lot of tickets.
Paul. I mean, Jake Paul's going to do what Jake Paul does, but Anthony Joshua, and with respect to you and what you did and didn't earn in your career, Anthony Joshua has earned a king's ransom. Yeah. So he doesn't need to be fiddle with this, does he?
Yeah. No, he doesn't. But again, all I keep seeing from people out there is, when is enough enough? And I get that. But when you're retired at 33, 34, and you've got to make that last, now you've got more experience than me in this, dealing with a lot of footballers in the past as well, and business people who have to make a certain amount of budget last. It's the easiest money he'll probably ever make if it does happen. And because of his profile that Jake Paul has, unfortunately, whether you like it or not, he's got a huge profile. That's the only reason why the question will be entertained.
Can I ask you, Paul, about what your view on the Joshua situation is? We've seen him obviously lose to Usyk and then rebuild himself potentially in people's minds by the fight against Jermaine Franklin, the fight against Helenius, against Otto Wallin, and then the cleaning out of Ngannou, which in my mind was actually revalidating boxing after the poor performance that Tyson Fury had put in against an MMA fighter that hadn't fought for 18 months with a rebuilt knee. Yeah. If you're in the Joshua camp now, looking at the direction he's gone on, where he is now, how do you assess what he's done and where he, not the world titles he's won, but the recent times in the rebuild and where he can go now?
It's easy saying it from our perspective. We're not inside. We don't see how it is. But what I did see and what I did hear on fight night when he lost to Dubois was bad advice from the corner. Now, Ben Davison is a good lad, he's a good trainer. Yeah. He takes the credit, and he's come out recently and he's took the criticism, and he's admitted that the corner work was really bad and maybe the preparation, I'm not sure what happens in the gym, but to tell Anthony Joshua to go for it when Dubois is still very much live in the fight, where 3 or 4 rounds, it's a different opponent, it's a different job in front of you, it's a different task. But you tell him to roll the dice when he's already been hurt, he's already been dropped,
It's just recovery, he's just getting himself back into it a little bit.
just bullshit, bluff your way through the fight for the next 2 or 3 rounds. Let Dubois tire himself out because he's fighting on nerves, ultimately, Dubois, in my opinion. And then you've got a better chance. I think he needs to change the team around him. I think he needs to get a good trainer around him.
Did you think, Paul, that prior to the Dubois fight, that the fights that you saw him in, because we used to have this debate, me and Spence, about, I always felt that Anthony Joshua, with no discredit to his achievements, the moment he got a live one that was going to put it on him, that he was going to have a challenge. And I didn't think Jermaine Franklin did that. I didn't think Helenius did that. I didn't think Wallin did that. And I didn't think Ngannou should have been able to do it to Tyson Fury, let alone Anthony Joshua. Did you think going into that fight that Anthony Joshua was rehabilitated, redeemed, and was going to go and deal with Daniel Dubois? Did you have any reservations about what was going to happen?
Honestly, I remember seeing your prediction and thought it was quite bold. And I was thinking that it was going to go as it should go to plan, that Joshua will have too much for Dubois, based on Dubois' performances against Usyk and Joe Joyce.
Yep.
Now, I saw some of them fights that I can't not see and I can't unsee, and I'm still strongly in the favour that has to be really redeemed. Now, the Joshua performance did redeem him a little bit, but that still sits with me and what happened in them 2 fights going forward to Dubois. And I felt that Joshua
really
would 100%. No, I thought he redeemed himself. I said this after the fight on Twitter. I went straight to social media because I was the first one to criticise Dubois, so I had to be the first one to praise him. Always do it. I do it with referees, I do it with officials, I do it with everyone. If I'm wrong, I admit I've got no problem admitting I'm wrong on things. I felt he performed really well on that fight, but I felt that fight was going to be over quick, and I had a couple of bets on round 1 and round 2 for both fighters. That was it. Right. One's fighting on ego, one's fighting on nerves. Right. And the one fighting on nerves will be sharper, fast, early on, ready. The one fighting on ego will be a bit too blasé, thinking you shouldn't really be in here with me, I should be beating you. So I felt it would be over quick, and it almost was. On that fight, I didn't think AJ would be as bad as he was. I thought he would be better. I thought he still had a lot left, especially after, as you say, the knockout of Ngannou, which I was at. And I was proved wrong on the night. I thought Dubois did really well, but I thought AJ was bad. It wasn't the fact that Dubois was really good, which he was. I thought AJ was under par.
Do you think Anthony Joshua's got another world title? I mean, obviously the discussions are being mooted, and Spencer's hard and fast on the fact that he believes that the WBL belt is going to be stripped away from Usyk if they make the Dubois fight, which they're going to, and it's going to be given to Joseph Parker because he's the interim champion, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And then likely the fight is going to be between Joshua and Parker for that world title. Whether Ajit Kabayel should be in the conversation is a different discussion. Yeah. Do you think Anthony Joshua's got another world title in him?
I think against someone like Parker at the moment who's flying, I don't know. It all depends on what AJ's got. Listen, Anthony Joshua has a phenomenal career. He's been unbelievable for British boxing. He's a great advert for British boxing. I've always said this from the start. From what he did, he probably wasn't expected to do half of what he did, especially in the Olympics. But after the Olympics, it's just snowballed, and he's gone right through the division. He's never going to have to get out of bed again as long as he lives financially. And the titles that he's won, he's done really well. Whether he can win another title will only be because of how the titles are fragmented. Now, I'm not being hypocritical saying this because my brother Callum has one of them also, an interim title, but the champion is Usyk. And unless he loses them belts in the ring, it's hard to say anyone else is a real, genuine, bona fide world champion. But if them belts